Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be reviewing an album which was requested by James Lobban, Vinyl Collector James. Has got a great channel out there, so I will link that in the description. He's asked me to look at the Charlatans' debut album, Some Friendly. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'll give a bit of background information about the record, then show you my vinyl copy of it, and then go over each of the album songs in detail. So as I said, this was the band's debut album, released on the 8th of October in 1990. Although they are often considered a Manchester band, like part of like the same scene that what the Stone Roses and like the Happy Mondays were in, they were actually formed in the West Midlands in 1988 by bassist Martin Blunt, Rob Collins on keyboards, and John Brooks on drums. So as you can see, the Charlatans kind of started as a rhythm section, as opposed to a vocalist or guitarist. Like most other bands do. They had a lead singer called Baz Keatley, who would later be replaced by Tim Burgess, who was actually from Salford. So that's why the Charlatans, they are known as a group from Manchester. He lived in Northwich, which is just south of Manchester, Cheshire area, and that's where the Charlatans relocated to. So this album, in particular, was recorded at a studio called The Windings, which is near Wrexham. And apparently the sessions were quite difficult. The band fell out with the studio owners because of their immature studio behaviour, shall I say. They also suffered from a lack of material as well, because they were only formed in 1988. They didn't have a long experience of learning their act, having years to write songs. That's what some of the band members I've said about this record, it is a little bit patchy because it didn't have a large collection of stockpiled material. However, it was a major commercial success for them, topping the UK charts, which is really unprecedented for an indie album, really. But this was when the Manchester scene was in full swing. Indie music was really quite big in the UK, and certainly this record getting to #1 is certainly evidence of that. In America, it didn't do too badly, I think reaching number 86 or something like that, but America, they actually had to change the name. They were called the Charlatans UK, because for some reason, America, no two bands are allowed to have the same name. So I believe there was a sort of 60s folk group called the Charlatans. So these guys had to change their name to Charlatans UK. The same thing happened to Squeeze and a few other groups as well. Had to add UK to their name. So I wanted to show you my vinyl copy of it here. This is a original copy, I believe. I got this one online. Also, just a wee thing I've got with the album is my uncle's old concert ticket. So this is when he saw them in June 1990, so just before this record came out, at the Ritz in Manchester. So that would have been a fantastic concert to have gone and seen. So anyway, here is the record. I really like the cover. This one, it is a nice shape. There's a wee mark there on the front, but it isn't too noticeable from a distance. There's the back of it there. And inside, it's just got this of it, in a sleeve. I believe this is the record label, Dead Good Records, is what it's on. There's just a sort of slightly blurry band photo, on the other side. And the labels, quite nice labels, on this as well, just sort of custom design there. So overall, really nice vinyl packaging. Okay, so I'll now go over each of the album songs. I'll score each track out of 10, and then those scores will be used to give us a overall percentage marking for the album. So we begin the album with a song called You're Not Very Well, which has a kind of sort of slow build up to this area, quite a smooth bassline groove on it. I mean, lyrically, it is quite a sort of pointed song, just just sort of saying how someone isn't quite right, doesn't really fit with the album sort of title, Some Friendly, and some of the other more sort of positive material on here. There's a nice bridge in the song as well, what lifts it up. So overall, a really great song to kick off there. We'll get a 9 out of 10 from me. I'm gonna be then the fast pace continues with the next one, White Shirt, which just sounds a very sort of celebratory song. We've got Rob Collins kind of organ work, just really uplifting in this track here. Very catchy chorus as well. Burgess sings it quite well. Slightly sort of dark lyrics on it, but really good like follow-up track there, White Shirt, and we'll get a 9 out of 10 from me. Now, the next song, The Only One I Know, isn't actually on this vinyl copy of it, although it was on the CD like when it came out, like which was like the primary like medium like for like listening to music like back in 1990. So like I will include it like in like the score for the album. It is the absolutely classic The Only One I Know, which is a brilliant song. Like this is one of like the true sort of classics like of like kind of like that Manchester like era. Like you've got this really sort of like pumping like organ work like on it. Great guitar playing like on it as well. Like was one of like the Charlatans like biggest hits, got to number 9 I believe on the UK charts. So wonderful song there, The Only One I Know. An easy 10 out of 10 for me. And the next one on the album is called Opportunity, which I would give an 8 out of 10 to. This is quite a different vibe to this track here. It's quite lengthy, like very sort of like minimalistic sort of jam. Like there's some sort of like psychedelic sort of stylings like on it like as well. Like these very sort of like swooping guitars like on it. Like I quite like the lyrics on it as well. And like it is just like a nice chilled out song. Maybe it is a bit long, like it isn't one that like you really like intently like listen to, but like you can like just like get like lost like in like this track like quite easily. So yeah, like Opportunity, we're getting 8 out of 10 from me. Then we get another one of the singles, which is Then, which is another favourite track of mine, like from the record, like another 10 out of 10. I mean, this was another single, like as I said, like got to number 12, like on like the UK charts, and I mean, this isn't especially like a commercial sounding song. Like I say, like out of like the songs like on this record, is probably one of like the least sort of like commercially sort of catchy songs, but it is a brilliant track though. We've got great vocals like from Burgess on it, like a really sort of strong like bass groove on it. Great production like as well, like I forget like who like produced this record, like, but it's just a wonderful sound to listen to, like wonderful vibe, just a really great track there. And Then would get a 10 out of 10. And then we close side 1 with what is probably for me the weakest song like on the record. It's called 109 Part 2, which is an instrumental track, and it's quite a slow burning song this here. Like it's just got like this slow like organ bed, got it with like these kind of sort of backwards like drum loops like on it. I mean, it doesn't really develop like from there though. Like it's about 3 minutes of just like this sort of chilled out sort of like soundscape really. A 5 out of 10. Like, I mean, it isn't one that I would ever play like outside like off like the record, and like yeah, like maybe just like a little bit of filler there like on the album. And then opening up to side 2, we get song Polar Bear, which isn't a bad track for this one here. This is one of the more sort of like average songs like on like the record here. You've got some quite nice like interesting like synth parts like on it like as well, like as opposed to sort of like the organ like driving like the song. I mean, it just sounds a bit samey, like quite similar to many of the other songs like on like the album that doesn't really stand out much. So yeah, Polar Bear would get a 7 out of 10 from me. And the next one is kind of similar. It's called Believe You Me, which has a this one like is a little bit more distinctive. Like we've got like this sort of like flanged like guitar like on it. Just doesn't really jump out to me much. It just kind of sits there like on like the album, like not really like hurting it, but then again like not really like enhancing like the record like all that much. It is just another solid like album track, I would say. Next one though is quite a bit stronger for me. It's called Flower, which is a sort of slightly softer groove to this one here. Like we've got some sort of like Stone Roses like sort of style like guitar like on it, a little bit similar to like their song like Shoot You Down. And like I really like the chorus like of this one here, like the time to say bye bye to the bad girl, like that bit, like quite catchy, like just like works like pretty well like on like the song for me. Like and like because it is like a slightly like slower, like sort of like calmer vibe, like it really like allows that chorus like to jump out a bit. So yeah, Flower would get a 9 out of 10 on another really great track there for me. one is also really good. It's called Sonic, which this one has a kind of sort of like rockabilly feel like to like the drums of this one here, but still like with like a very sort of distinctive like Charlatans like sound to it, like quite nice like jangly guitars like on it, like just like overall another really good, really enjoyable song there. This one knows she comes and goes. And then the album finishes with the mighty Sproston Green, which is a song which is named after a village which was near where Burgess like grew up, like in like Northwich. I mean, like this is an epic song to finish the album. The whole band are just sort of, like really keyed into each other, really playing incredibly well, and like I love like this version specifically more than the single cut, because like there's kind of like an extended like introduction like this one here, and then like suddenly like the drums sort of kick in. It just rocks so well, this track here. Lyrically is maybe a tad repetitive, like a little bit basic, like this one knows she comes and goes, when she goes she goes. It's very basic, like kind of like childish like sort of like lyrics, but just like the whole vibe like off like the song just works so well. And like this is a song which I believe that the Charlatans closed pretty much every single concert like they ever played like with this song, and when I'd seen them back in December, this was definitely a highlight like from like the show like as well, like just an absolutely great way to end like a concert with, great way to end this album with. So Sproston Green, a 10 out of 10 there, wonderful track. Okay, so overall this album would score 84%. So I would say, overall, this is a really strong record. Like, it is quite a consistently good album. Like, there's very few, like, sort of, like, filler songs. Like, the only one which I'd say, like, I don't really care for, like, is 109 Part 2. But, apart from that, like, every song, like, is, like, pretty good, like, if not, like, great. There are some other, like absolute classics like from like this era, like already like The Only One I Know, Sproston Green, Then, and Flower. Like they're all like wonderful songs. It maybe does get a little bit like bogged down like in like the middle, like a little bit like samey sounding like throughout throughout like the kind of like middle section like off like the record, but it is always like an upbeat record, like always like a lot of fun, and like just like a great sort of like artifact like from like that sort of like baggy like sort of like Manchester like era. Like you've just got like some like great rhythms on it, like great like bass playing, like great grooves on it, along with like kind of like 60s like guitar sounds like on it like as well. Just overall a really fun, really solid album here. So yeah, that's me reviewed the Charlatans Some Friendly. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time for the next one. Goodbye.